We would also like Liberians to be aware of the Chief Patron of Sports, His Excellency Dr. George Emmanuel. We are under, from his instruction to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, I'm pleased to announce to you that for the first time, through his initiative and his involvement, we received in advance the win bonuses for the players. So we have the win bonuses available in our possession that will be taken to Morocco, so that once the player wins the match, the payments will be made immediately. So far, there is no outstanding payment for any national team player as it relates to the international competition for the AFCON 2023 qualifiers. And we are hoping that we can continue to have more of this kind of support and more attention given to football, so we can move our football program forward. Members of the press, again, we like to say thank you for coming. We now like to open the floor if you have any questions or concerns that you love to raise, so we can be able to address it adequately. Thank you.
So there you have it. We will take one question individual. We're not here too long. We'll start right here. The President Emeritus of the Association, William Mustapha. Please just go straight ahead to ask your question.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Just a short question. I want to know, we sent some data, how much has the government provided for win bonus? Because we know that the parent bonus has tended to be corrected at $1,000. So how much you have in your possession per game with win bonus for the players?
Well, thank you very much. As part of the policy, within our organization, we have financial policies. As part of the policy put in place for the national team, the parent fee is double once they win. So the parent fee is going to be double. That's the reason why we have the balance of the money available and will be on the account. Once the team wins the game, we're going to provide them. And I'm sure after that, the chief patron of sport is going to do more, because with what he's shown and what we've pointed out, that he needs a successful return and for us to celebrate. I'm sure there's more that he's going to do for this. Just a follow-up.
Who's following up?
Yeah.
Moses Basil.
Yeah, Mr. President, thank you for the deliberation. The follow-up to Roland's question, the players were requesting an increment in their earnings at the national team level. The appearance fees or game bonuses or win bonuses. I get that information. We sure yes. What have the FA done? And my question now is, President, what is the focus of Liberia in this qualification process? A lot of people criticizing the FA for playing in Morocco, and you are in fact paired with Morocco. Why?
Okay, thank you very much, Moses. Very good question. And like I said, we have different kind of policies. In every organization, that budgetary period, we work along with Ministry of Youth and Sports. We all know the budget period for national government. The request yes came from players. We received it at the LFA and submitted to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. It is something that the minister accepted that they are going to review. However, with the current situation, we thought to ensure that we address all of the concerns in terms of receiving payments on time and having the bonuses available. So that aspect, has been handled. We are hoping that the ministry can address that other part in terms of the increments requested by the players. And I'm very confident that, looking at what they've done within the last couple of weeks, I'm sure once the players deliver, put the smiles on Liberians, the faces of Liberians, the chief patron of sports is going to do far more than they expect from national government. On the other part about our participation in Morocco, I don't think any of us should be strangers to the situation of our stadium. Our stadium is under ban by CAF. The last time we played in Ghana, we spent around close to 40,000 change in terms of lease of facilities and all additional expenses. There are other facilities that we tried to register for to use. Guinea was booked by Sierra Leone, and CAF gave them a one-off match because the facility also had an issue. We also engaged Ghana, engaged Senegal. Senegal was engaged by Gambia. We got a late return. Our agreement, and mind you, we had a MOU between Liberia and Morocco dated way back in 2019. And when there was no country that would accept Liberia, Morocco came in and provided a facility to us to utilize the stadium at no cost and to work with a lot of development projects. we did not make the draw or to calculate that Liberia was going to be paired against Morocco. We tried as best as we could, but you also know within our country there are other challenges that we face. Our responsibility as a football association is to also ensure that when we make decisions, we are also making sure that we avoid a lot of costs on national government. Today there are challenges in every one of you community. There are other needs that you have. Today, if you are bringing football versus your child going to school, I'm sure you're going to select school over football. So there are other priorities, and our responsibility as the LFA is also to ensure that we work with government and engage with other parties to see how best we can save money to ensure that we continue to run our program. So we maintain Morocco because we have no other option and nowhere to go. And with the facility, the continuity of most of our players from Europe to Morocco, there was also additional cost saving for the Football Association, and we got the approval from national government. It was not something that the LFA just decided to do on its own. The executive committee convened, deliberated, looked at all of the challenges, engaged national government through the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We got the approval, and that's the reason why today we are playing Morocco, and we're very confident. I mean, it's a game that we can play. Even if you play in your home, there are times that you are defeated by other clubs. We are not going to Morocco to just go there to be beaten. We're going to play football, and I'm very confident that our young players are going to do the best to bring the smiles and faces of our people.
The other side spoke about what's the focus of the team in this qualifying.
Moses, we are going to play to qualify. We are not going to play to go and get defeated. We want to qualify. Fortunately, we see that, yes, looking at the path, a lot of good signs. Liberia was paired in the draw. We didn't go through preliminary rounds. During the draw, again, not 4 teams, 3 teams. We'll have 2 teams to qualify. We see a lot of possibilities, and I'm happy that for the very first time in preparation for this competition, we started training on time. The national team started training I think around May 2nd. We continue to train until the team departed from Morocco. So thanks again to the government, and I'm sure there is more to come for football in our country.
Yeah, the next question should be for Raji. Let's hear from you, Edwin Foyer from Cool FM.
Yeah, Mr. President, you spoke about the we-are-led government support to win bonus to Liberia national team. Is this the first time that the President of the Republic of Liberia began a huge support to our national team?
No, this is not the first time, and this is something that he's used to as president of the country. He has done it independently when he was not president, when he was a player, he chartered flights and did a lot for our country. Now he's president, he has gotten involved, and again, he got involved to ensure that the Ministry of Youth and Sports delivered the payment and cleared the liabilities that was under another government from Roberto Landi, around $175,000. The president gave an instruction to the Ministry of Youth and Sports to ensure that that money will be paid because it was money that was way back in 2014 that was due Roberto Landi. So that amount was paid and cleared to avoid embarrassment during the we-are-led administration. So there's a lot of things he has been doing, getting involved, and as president he also has his ambassadors and ministers who have the overall responsibility to ensure that they deliver.
From Christopher Walker from West Africa.
Mr. President, we have this qualifier. Peter Butler contract should expire at the end of August. Do we intend keeping him? And if no, who are we looking at because we are already into the qualifiers?
Well, thank you, Chris. What happened is that the contract expires in August. We still have up to August. The Football Association Technical Development Committee that has the overall responsibility to work with the national team already started negotiating with the coach and other coaches around the world to see the best option in terms of solution for our national team. So once we come to the end of the coach's contract, we'll be informed in terms of whether or not we will be keeping Mr. Peter Butler or we will be coming with a new coach.
Let's go to you, Thomas Rara from Freedom FM.
Mr. President, in your opening statement, I heard you congratulating teams that qualified to participate in the league for the 2023-2024 season. I want to know if an investigation has been done by the Liberia Football Association about MPA Average 2 for Sano County to participate in the second division, because the universal law of football says a senior team and the junior team cannot participate in the same division. So, if no, what is the FA doing?
Well, thank you very much. What you just said, there are two things that happen. All of the clubs have membership with the Football Association, there are regulations put in place. Yes, we are aware of those regulations. We are also aware that today in our country, a lot of teams adopt names that don't belong to the team with no connection. So the instrument that defines and show whether there's a link or ownership related to NPA anchors and NPA anchors too would be the Article of Corporation and Business Registration. That's a key documentation that we use as the Football Association to investigate clubs. And it's not just going to be the final, because if it is also established that we're being misled through the process, actions can be taken by relegating whosoever that is engaged in that act.
Okay, I will also take myself on the Roland Banako of Separate TV.
Mr. President, there have been huge concerns from Liberians concerning the recruitment of players, most especially by the technical team. That the technical team recruitment have been based on the influence of some executive committee members of the Liberian Football Association and some high-ranking government officials, other executive top administrators of the Liberian Football Association. Can you care to speak to that?
Well, Roland, I would love that you conduct as a journalist more, a proper investigation and get the source and count the evidence, because this is something that's very complex and difficult to solve. I can stand as president of the Football Association and tell you that I have not been involved in engaging with the coaches in terms of the selection process of the players on the national team is independently done by the head coaches of the team and his group. If there are other individuals or other elements that are getting involved or getting to the coaches, that's something that I can control because I'm not aware of it. As a president of the Football Association who is linked to other teams in the country, I do not get involved. We get also insulted that why a couple of players from teams that we own are not on the national team. So it is an issue based on selection, but whosoever has the best decision in terms of selecting players to the national team is the head coaches. So it's their responsibility. And I think you as journalists must engage these coaches to come out and speak out. If executive committee members are coming out, let them name them and shame them, because that's not what we want. We want to have the best quality, talented players representing our country, because it is in the interest of our country. It should not be personal.
Follow the ruling.
Yes. Briefly.
Yeah, briefly. He talked about influence. Coach Keita, when he came, he talked about government officials or people within the FA trying to bribe him. Up to now, the FA is yet to come up with any investigation. So, can you?
Well, I don't think it was something to buy, because Keita as an individual, I believe when he was discussing such an issue, he did not speak on behalf of the Football Association. We've checked, and I think it's also your responsibility as the journalist to critique Mr. Keita's statements, requesting and demanding to provide those information and point out the individuals. Because I think it's going to better help our society, where we can point out individuals who just come out with a wild allegation that someone is trying to entice you or to bribe you to select specific players on the national team. We will not tolerate it. Zero tolerance to involving with the selection of players on the national team is the responsibility of the national team technical staff and the coaches, and we want it to remain like that. I mean, you have a different opinion as a journalist in terms of the selection of the coaches. Everyone can have that, but we stay away as officials of the Football Association to involve ourselves with selecting players for the national team or engaging coaches based on personal interest.
Okay, I'm sorry I have to ask you to introduce yourself. I know you represent Daily Observer.
Thank you. My name is Jacob Harris and I work for the Daily Observer newspaper.
Okay.
Mr. President, I would like to understand from you. There's information about mini stadium being built by Morocco in Liberia. How far is it with the information right now?
Well, I think it's news to me, and I'm hoping that we all as Liberians should try and do proper investigation. What I know about, I will refer you to. Again, when we took over our administration, not just sitting to lay back, and knowing that it's not just the responsibility of national government to build infrastructures in the country, knowing that we also have a responsibility as the Football Association went out to engage partners that were interested in partnering with us to develop football in our country. So we entered an MOU with the Federation of the Moroccan Football Association, and in 2020, during the CHAN competitions in Cameroon, we reached an agreement that the Moroccan government was going to support in the construction of an artificial pitch. I have no idea about a mini stadium, so there's no mini stadium that Morocco is going to construct in Liberia. We discussed a couple of years ago about artificial pitch, and when that information came out, the final notification came out, we informed members of the press and the general public. Okay.
Follow up.
Yeah, Mr. President, follow up on this question. How far are we with the construction of the artificial pitch?
Okay, so there are processes involved. You don't just start the pitch, because once you want to do artificial pitch, I hope I don't take your time, but I can drill you through. First, you have to do a geotechnical survey. After the geotechnical survey, you have to do a topo survey. After the topo survey, you have to do an assessment and validation of the results that you receive. And then from that process, communication from our football association to the Moroccan Football Association, because the agreement was between the two associations. They forward that document now to the Ministry of Infrastructure that is responsible to construct. And I'm proud to inform you that this month, the team will be coming now to go and inspect the facility and do verification and check all of the dimensions. Mind you, a couple of experiences held in the past where people provided names of facility for stadiums to be constructed in the name of the country, and in the end it was constructed at the private facilities. So based on our agreement, the team will come to do final validation before they can go ahead with the construction process that is going to be involved with the excavation, the placement of the tubes, putting the geotextile, putting the crushed stones, doing compacting them, and then laying the artificial pitch.
Yeah, Ben, follow up.
The President, many people have interest in the state of
Yes, I want to know where exactly are you carrying the artificial pitch?
Well, the initial project location on file with the Moroccans is the Willie Knuckles Stadium. We are still discussing with them because there are other inputs that came, and we forwarded to the Moroccan Federation, and they have submitted to the government. They are reviewing, and once the team comes, we're going to look at an option and sit with us on the table to see if the second request is acceptable, or they have to continue with the initial request at the Willie Knuckles Stadium.
Okay, I will take, I'm sorry, I will take Sylvester Warwick from Fabric Radio at the back there. Sylvester.
Okay, you say thank you, Ben. Mr. President, you talk about our priority as a country is to qualify for African population. And I also heard you talk about saving costs. And did you at any point in time ask the government of Liberia, we need some money to pay for a stadium? Morocco being our opponent in Bouquet, we came to with our own team on our own soil, and government and
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Warwick. I don't know if you just walked into this conference or you were not paying attention. I would just like to repeat to you so maybe you can understand, and for those who were not paying attention, to listen clearly. I stated that we have an agreement with Morocco Federation a couple of years back. I also stated that prior to our qualification process and our planning process, we did not just jump overnight to make a decision. We started to scout for facilities that we could use, taking note that we also had the Moroccan as a facility that was available to us. Today, Morocco is hosting more than 5 other nations who have similar problems like Liberia. I also informed you that we spent money that was approved by the government last time in Ghana, close to $40,000. I also stated that the executive committee, after review of the options from Senegal, options from Guinea, where it was taken by Sierra Leone and taken by Gambia, we informed the Ministry of Defense, who is national government, who gave us the approval to proceed and play in Morocco. Thank you. Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. Let me take Intel Sports Wayne Gaga.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me bring it back to youth football development. We had 2 leg games played recently with the under 20 of Morocco. What's your overall grading of the performance of the Liberian under 20?
I think it's good, excellent movement, something I did not capture, and something that most of us did not capture. Over the years, we've not seen what has been happening under the league. We are led the government, seeing the number of delegations, number of teams that has come to Liberia, especially for youth football. The Moroccans came into Liberia based on our negotiation with them over the period. Purchased the flight tickets to come and participate in this tournament. We saw Sierra Leone coming in, huge investment in terms of cash flow for the short period into our economy. The other part in terms of the performance and metrics, the results in terms of analysis will be provided by the Technical Development Committee. But I think it's a good beginning to give our kids the chance to showcase so that we can start to see our weakness. Had we not participated in these tournaments, we would not know some of the weaknesses of our players. Now it is time for our team to go back to drawing board to see how best they can strengthen the team in preparation for the qualifiers in September. We have more time. I'm definitely confident that they will participate in the additional international friendlies because it's our responsibility to look for those friendly matches, organize them. We'll be hoping that the government of Liberia can provide the money so that these kids can participate in these friendly matches.
We could go on and on for a very long period of time, but we take 3 more percent to close this. Yes, let's come to you, Yusuf.
Yeah,
Yusuf,
I want to know what are the SKD will be ready for the next after future.
Well, we are hoping that it's ready. Again, we are not the owner of the stadium. Government owns the stadium. It's controlled by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We've been visiting the facility based on our experience with the construction of turf. We've seen now that they've completed the laying of the geotextile and the crushed stones. They are also now reviewing and creating more compaction on the facility and creating more slopes so that the water can drain off. The SBR is also present. We've seen the final pose of the geotextile available, so I'm sure that the turf itself and the experts that will be putting the turf on the pitch could be here maybe around Monday or Tuesday to start with the work. We hope that the rains will give them the chance because it's important to lay the turf in a very good weather condition. So once it is done, we've already started. We've triggered the communication with CAF, first requesting us to play our home game as a one-off match for the CHAN at the HES, and to also give us consideration to play our game against South Africa at the SKD. Mind you, the artificial pitch or the turf is not the only requirement to approve the SKD. We have the issue of the lights. The lights should be around 1,200 lux. The current measurement of the lights is around 400 lux. We also have the requirements to ensure that all of the bathrooms around the stadium should be functional. We also have the requirement that all of the gate entries should have turnstile. So there are things that we also started working, engaging CAF to see, given the process and the progress we've made so far in terms of coaching stuff, to give us some condition for a one-off match so that Liberians can see the national team play home with all of the investment we've made as a country. And thanks to the government of Liberia and His Excellency for ensuring that we have the turf that we can be able to use to play our international matches.
Okay, 2 more concerns. We'll take one from Ziegler Wesley.
Okay.
Then we'll take from Moses.
Yes, Mr. President, are you aware that the team's deputy coach denied travel Christopher Wren? The next one is FIFA 2.0. You are the last FIFA Congress good decision from the member countries, and FIFA is to support football development, especially grassroots. How do we benefit from infrastructure?
Well, thank you, Moses. Again, we don't interfere with the decisions taken by the head coach. Clear example is Ray is here. Decision taken by the head coach because we are also in preparation for other competition. And the coach decided that Mr. Ray should remain to continue with the training of the local players, something that we have welcomed as the LFA because we want to give more chance to prepare way in advance. Gone are the days where we prepare 2 days for competition. We want to give all of the opportunity to our young players, our technical staff to have all of the time with the players to prepare them for this competition. Like I said, the CHAN is nearby in July, should be around July 22nd against Senegal. So there's a need for us to have a team of local-based players training. The other part you mentioned about
The 3.0.
The FIFA 3.0. Yes, it's something that we approve. We as a football association has already commenced work with the FIFA team. We'll be visiting the development office in France very soon to work out modality and the future of our football infrastructure program in the country. So there are more quick pitches to come. It's not just the ones we've done. So those who are sitting out there dreaming,
how many of them is the president?
more to come. There are more pitches to come. We've approved the Gompa Stadium in Nimba. We've approved the David Cunha Stadium in Bon County. We also approved during the last leadership the facility in Lofa and a couple of pitches around Liberia. What we are trying to work with FIFA now is not to just come up with FIFA approved pitches to be in the rural areas. We want to maximize the cost to have more pitches, long-lasting pitches that we can also use to improve our football system.
So one follow-up in the question. The follow-up will come from Chris. From Chris.
Yeah, Mr. President, you talk about Christopher Ray leaving back to prepare the Chan team, but since the team left, the Chan team is not in training. You care to tell when they will start training?
Well, we are waiting for the technical development committee. It's good that the chairman of the committee is monitoring this press conference. The team left with all three of the goalkeepers, left with a couple of other players to Morocco. So those players need to be replaced because we will have a one training session. And we want to move them to the technical center. You also know that the Under 20 was at the technical center in preparation for the Under 20 youth competition. The Under 17 is leaving today for the facility and want to prepare that facility to host the local players that will be preparing for the chance, because all concentration needs to be placed to get the best result that the citizens expect.
And then the last question to close the press conference will come from Raji Nanika Hoffman.
Do you have any plans to send about organizing international film night for female clubs?
Oh well, Nanika, it's not just a responsibility for the national team, but we also try to do our best for the women's team. We did before the Moroccans also visited and played the Under 20. We are looking around to see other interested countries that will come to participate in this tournament. Something that I left out, the women's Champions League second edition will be held in Liberia for the Waffle Junior competition. And to also inform you that the U15 second edition Waffle Junior competition will also be held in Liberia for the second group. And the Waffle Congress will also be held in Liberia on June 25th. A lot of activities that our administration, under the President George Weah leadership, has decided to bring to our country to ensure that we invest more, not just in football, but as a means of investing in our economy and improving the lives of all our Nigerians.
Let me say thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you to my colleagues for turning up for this press conference.
Thank you very much. God bless you.